Welcome back to another deep dive. You know our mission.
Mm,
We try to cut straight through and get you the core insights from the materials we look at.
exactly. And today, we've got something really different. It's raw, it's personal.
It is. We're looking at excerpts from a YouTube video transcript, basically, rap lyrics from an artist called Ace Baby. The track is Harpy 1MF.
Yeah, and this isn't, a polished statement or anything. It's unfiltered lyrics. It gives you this, direct window into the artist's world, their headspace.
Absolutely packed with vivid stuff, really intense emotion.
Definitely.
So our goal today is really to unpack that. What are the main themes? What maybe surprising things pop out? What's the underlying message here?
We want to help you understand the world being painted in these words and, maybe see how these very specific, very raw lines touch on bigger human experiences.
Right. How does this kind of direct personal stuff show the complexities of someone's life, the contradictions even?
Yeah, exactly. So as we go through this, maybe keep a couple of questions in mind. Like, what does this kind of unvarnished story tell us about getting through really tough situations? And how can things that seem opposite, like being really vulnerable, but also having this super tough exterior or, I don't know, huge ambition mixed with deep despair, how do those things exist in one person's narrative?
Okay, let's get into it then. I mean, reading through these lyrics, the first thing that just jumps out is this constant, heavy sense of struggle. Right?
Absolutely. It's everywhere.
He literally says, why the fuck life be so hard, this shit ain't easy?
Yeah.
It's not just like a passing comment. It feels like the absolute core of his experience.
It really does, to the point where he talks about wanting to kind of leave using some pretty intense language around that.
Yeah. And it's not just mental, is it? It feels physical, too.
Yeah.
He says, I'm up all night, think about my life. She got me barely sleeping. That's the mental grind.
Right, the constant pressure.
But then you get that line, choking on her while I'm beating this bitch, barely breathing. Now, beating this bitch, it's obviously very intense, very colloquial.
Extremely.
But in context here, it paints this picture of just extreme physical and maybe emotional distress.
Yeah.
Right? Perhaps even like being out of it on something.
Yeah.
It ties back to life just grinding him down.
Yeah, it really conveys that sense of being overwhelmed, maybe even a drug-induced state, tying into that theme of life just taking a massive toll, like living right on the edge where breathing itself is hard work.
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About what it takes mentally and physically just to keep going in that kind of reality.
It does.
But what's so striking, I think, is how that intense struggle sits right alongside this incredibly fierce, almost defiant ambition.
Yes. That contrast is powerful. Despite everything he's describing, he still declares, I'll be shining like a motherfucker.
It's not just hoping. It's like, this will happen.
Exactly. It's a statement, and then I need some diamonds, so I'm trapping like a motherfucker.
Right. And trapping here, for anyone who may be not familiar, usually refers to drug dealing, right, as a way to get money, get status.
Precisely. It shows this very pragmatic, though obviously dangerous path he sees towards getting ahead in his specific world.
So given that struggle he describes, do you think that ambition is like purely internal, just his drive? Or is it also something he has to project outwards just to survive?
Yeah.
He says, no, I'm be great just because I want it.
I think it's got to be both, right? That's what makes it so compelling. That internal want it is definitely this refusal to waste no time in this motherfucker, even when, as he says, this should be really hard as fuck.
Yeah.
But it's also a survival thing, I think. You have to project that hardness, that drive. It taps into that universal human thing wanting to overcome. But the method is what's so starkly presented here.
Yeah, the methods are unavoidable in the lyrics. Lines like, a silly nigga, but a pop you like a motherfucker, or play with us, we blowing shit. It's just, it's right there.
It's a brutal depiction of the environment.
And the role of drugs is so central, too. Keep them drugs coming. I keep all these pills like it's a plug on me. Fuck being sober. Keep them drugs coming. It's presented almost matter-of-factly.
Yeah, not necessarily as a moral issue in his telling, but as part of the hustle, part of how you navigate that world to try and reach those goals you're aiming for.
It really paints a picture where maybe typical rules just don't apply because survival and getting ahead demand something else.
It forces this kind of dangerous pragmatism, doesn't it? It makes you think about the choices available when your options for basic safety, let alone success, are just so limited.
Definitely. But okay, beyond the struggle and the ambition, there's another really strong current here, which is loyalty. It feels incredibly deep.
Oh, absolutely. It anchors him.
The emotion in, damn, I miss my fucking pops, and then admitting, I thought he'll never leave me. You really feel that.
It's raw grief. And the connection to his mother, too. Ah, Mama calling, she needs some money, and I'm her son. That shit ain't shit, I got your love. That responsibility is clear.
Yeah, it's immediate. And that loyalty goes beyond blood relatives too, doesn't it? To his crew.
Yes, my niggas like my blood brothers. There's this clear sense of, like, we're in this together, we protect each other.
He says, I know the thug's going to have some love for me, and talks about keeping someone close because he might hit something, his ass hunt you on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
It's this tight circle where trust is everything.
Absolutely paramount for survival in that world, it seems. Mutual protection.
So maybe the most insightful thing, or one of the most insightful things, is this constant push and pull we see between that deep vulnerability and the really tough exterior.
That tension is key, I think.
On one side, he says stuff like, I'm hella evil, projecting this incredibly hard image.
Right, unshakable.
But then, almost in the next breath, you get this really vulnerable spiritual plea. I'm on my knees. I'm praying to God that my soul don't bust, even when it's leaking.
And that juxtaposition is just so powerful. It really messes with our standard idea of what resilience looks like. It's not some solid shield. It's more like constantly shifting between feeling incredibly exposed and putting up that hard front. It feels like a psychological survival tool born directly out of that environment he's in.
He's clearly wrestling with things internally, right? Seeking something beyond the immediate, even while operating in a world that demands that toughness.
Yeah, and that line, I'm up all night, think about my life, it shows that reflective side, maybe even an anxious side. It contrasts so sharply with the aggressive, pop you like a motherfucker persona.
It really does. It highlights the mental juggling act needed to just hold yourself together under those kinds of pressures.
Exactly, the effort involved.
So bringing it all together then, this dive into Ace Baby's lyrics, it's really shown us a picture with a lot of different layers.
Definitely not one-dimensional.
We've seen that deep sense of struggle, how life just wears him down, but then countered by this fierce ambition to succeed no matter what.
Yeah, and we unpacked that powerful loyalty to family, to his chosen brothers, how essential those bonds are for support, for protection.
And we couldn't ignore the harsh realities of the street life.
Yeah.
The violence, the drugs, understanding them, not just as background noise, but as active forces shaping his choices, his path.
Right. And running through it all is that constant tension, that pull between vulnerability, the praying, the thinking about life, and the necessary toughness.
Yeah, the introspection versus the outward projection of strength.
Yeah.
Maybe even menace sometimes. It's just a really raw, honest look at how he navigates his world.
A mix of survival tactics and really deep personal, even spiritual struggles.
So the thought maybe to leave you with is this. When we listen to these kinds of raw, unfiltered expressions like these lyrics, what does it teach us?
Maybe about the different shapes resilience can take, how it doesn't always look like we expect.
Yeah, and maybe how we can understand worlds that seem really far from our own just by, really listening closely to the stories people tell, unfiltered, from within.